The top stories tonight. Nigerian opposition leader Julius Abur arrested in Edo State. Tinubu appoints new immigration controller general. NLC insists on planned protest, knocks DSS. South African government hikes taxes and social spending before election. Hello and many thanks for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Our coverage tonight begins in Edo State, Nigeria, where the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abur, has been taken into custody by Nigerian police in Edo State on Wednesday. The circumstances regarding his arrest in Benin City is still sketchy, but we understand that it may not be unconnected with allegations of an assassination attempt on the life of a member of the Labour Party purportedly sponsored by Julius Abur. Images and video clips surfaced on social media platforms capturing Abur seated on the floor prior to his removal by police in a vehicle. Abur has also come under fire for allegations of misusing party funds, with accusations involving the misappropriation of over 3 billion naira.
Julius Abur today was arrested by men of Nigeria police, Zone 5, together with officers from the Department of State Security Services. He was arrested today alongside the one Kelly Obulu. I can confirm that to you categorically that they were actually arrested today, and they are currently cooling off with them in Zone 5, Benin. First act, some of them were saying that, oh, you are part of a Papa group, you want to remove Abur, you want to do this. And of course, my mother would know what other information do we need. By the grace of God, I'm a lawyer, and what I am saying today, I'm ready to take full responsibility for them. Let me tell you one thing. Under Section 7 of the Criminal Code, there are people we call party to an offense. When an offense is deemed to have been committed, 4 categories of persons are deemed to have committed that offense. One, we call the procurers. Secondly, we call the abettor. Thirdly, we have the committer. And fourthly, we call the abettor. Now, who is the procurer? If you hire me to carry out an act for you, whatever happened in the course of me carrying that act, you are also part of it. And so, in this instance, those guys, from their own statement, as can be heard clearly from that video, they were clearly working for Abur and the state chairman of state chairman in Edo State, that Mr. Kelly, and they also confirmed that themselves. I think a few minutes ago, I had a clip from the spokesperson for the AIG Zone 5, Benin, who addressed pressmen, confirming one, that Abur was arrested and alongside with Mr. Kelly, and 2, that they will have commenced investigation.
To further discuss this, I'm joined by Dr. Abayi Abur, National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party. Thank you very much for joining us. The arrest has been effected, as confirmed by the gentleman you just listened to. But according to the party's official website, we've been told to disregard such news as it is fake. Can you confirm what is the true situation of things?
Well, thank you very much. We have a lot of funny people in Labour Party. But first of all, I want to disassociate our president candidate, from whatever any of those boys might be saying. I want to disassociate our president candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, is not part and parcel of these shenanigans, because we have to make that very clear. Now, on the website or whether Twitter handle, it has shown that most of these people, they don't love Nigeria. On the 29th, we also, when they were the one posting that video by themselves, where human beings were holding weapons, stone, eating the head of our national youth leader with the sole intention to murder him. And they have the audacity to send that video to the public. That shows that they know what they were doing.
Dr. Arabambi, not to drag you back, I asked a very specific question. There are comments that videos and pictures showing that he has been arrested. I'm asking you to confirm, is that correct or not, as a result of the information on your website?
No, it is correct, because the spokesperson of the Zone 5 has spoken that they arrested Abur in connection with an attempted murder of our national youth leader. He said it. The spokesperson of Zone 5 Benin, that number one. Number two, the spokesperson confirmed that he was found with a firearm and 4 live ammunition. So only Abur can explain to the federal government what he's doing, because as a state chairman, a national chairman of a party, even though he has been restrained by the court, if he had that power, despite police, protection, if he had that power to now be holding firearm, what did he intend to use with that firearm? Only God knows, because...
What is the implication? Doctor, when a leader is arrested, there is bound to be ripple effect. What is the implication of his arrest on Labour Party, particularly on the primaries and all that needs to be done ahead of the elections in Edo State?
Abur is not Labour Party. Labour Party belongs to all of us. Abur is not Labour Party. It was in the country that Adam Oshawale stepped down. It was the country that, PDP, national two chairman, the two national chairman PDP stepped down. It was the country that Adamu, the former national state governor, stepped down. So what are we talking about? Abur will have to go and face his music. It's not today he started it. Our primary goal as scheduled. Labour Party is not about Abur. Labour Party is not built around Abur. Abur is just an individual who, was just opportune to lead that party. And I think we thank God for what happened today, because he is dragging us as a party known for terror and for terrorism. We are peaceful, loving Nigerians.
Dr. Arabambi, the viewers would love to know what is next for the party, but you seem not to be answering the question.
No, what is next for the party is that there will be change of guard. There will be change of guard. There won't be any vacuum. Nature above vacuum. You need to go and answer, and we have to carry on, because it's not the only Labour Party. There will be an acting chairman. There will definitely be an acting chairman.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Still talking politics, the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Edo State, southern Nigeria, has started putting finishing touches to its preparations towards the party's state governorship primaries. The current deputy governor, Shaibu, is one of those contesting to fly the party's flag come the governorship election in September. But he faces stronger oppositions, especially from Asue Ighodalo, who many feel may be the favored candidate. News Centre's Bernard Akede had an interview with the state party chairman on what to expect come the primaries on Thursday. His report.
We are 90% ready.
The state chairman of the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Edo State, affirming the party's preparedness for the forthcoming primaries, which holds tomorrow.
The venue is being prepared. The delegates, most of the delegates are in town already. We're expecting the panel to come in from Abuja. And generally, we are ready for the primaries tomorrow.
Unlike what was witnessed when the opposition held theirs last week, the PDP chairman said this election will be held in one place, the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin, and not across different wards. On getting to the stadium, preparations were almost concluded.
The accreditation will start at 8 a.m. At the Mackay, that's the former Edo Hotel. They will enter dedicated buses from the Mackay straight to the venue of the primary, which is the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium.
10 aspirants, including the current deputy governor, Shaibu, will be jostling for the governorship ticket. and the chairman says the elections will be free, fair and credible. He also used the chance to take a dig at the opposition APC after the drama that followed their party primaries.
I imagine they're going to be a fierce contest. We're going to be very competitive. That is why we are going the extra mile to lay out a very elaborate process that will be free, fair, and credible and transparent, so that anybody that loses, we know that, yes, he lost, not because he was rigged out or because the process wasn't favorable to him. We don't ever do primaries and 4 candidates will emerge. It's only the APC that can do such things because they are capable of running everything aground, just as they have done the economy of this country.
The ruling party in Edo State will be hoping that the best aspirant wins these primary elections so as to have a good chance at the governorship elections come September this year. In Benin for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
Many thanks, Bernard. Following the controversy that trailed Saturday's governorship primary in Edo State, the All Progressive Congress, APC, has removed Governor Hope Uzodimma as chairman of the Elections Committee. This was disclosed in a statement issued on Wednesday by the APC National Organizing Secretary, Sulaiman Argungu. The Imo State governor was replaced with his counterpart from Cross River State, Bassey Otu, who was formerly the deputy chairman of the 7-member committee. Argungu disclosed that Otu has now been saddled with the responsibility of conducting the rerun poll slated for Thursday, February 22. The changes were made a few hours after 4 leading aspirants called for Uzodimma's replacement. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Kemi Nana Nandap as the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, according to a statement on Wednesday by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Asue Ighodalo. Nandap's appointment would take effect on March 1, 2024. She will be taking over from Mrs. Caroline Wura-Ola, whose term in office expires on February 29, 2024. Before her appointment, Nandap was the Deputy Comptroller General in charge of the Migration Directorate of the service. Former Nigeria's President, General Yakubu Gowon, retired, has called for a speedy resolution of the ongoing crisis in ECOWAS. General Gowon made this call after a brief meeting with President Bola Tinubu, saying he had come to discuss with the president plans to resolve the ongoing impasse, which has seen Niger, Chad and Burkina Faso exit the regional community. This was occasioned by sanctions from the bloc after military takeovers in the 3 West African states.
The issue of the ECOWAS problem at the moment, which I think need to be resolved. And being the surviving leader or founding fathers of the ECOWAS, I think we had to discuss some of his plan in order to see what can be done to bring the matter under control. So this is what has brought me here, and we had a very interesting meeting.
Nigeria's parliament has frowned at attempts to increase electricity tariff by removing subsidy on electricity. This followed a heated debate during plenary, where lawmakers described the attempt as insensitive. Amadine Uyi reports.
The debate on the floor of the Senate x-rayed attempts by the federal government to remove electricity subsidy, thereby increasing the cost of electricity. Lawmakers say electricity companies have in times past taken advantage of citizens.
The same electricity businesses are collecting money from customers for services not rendered, when they have not added anything to the equipment they inherited from PHCN. Communities buy transformers to replace damaged ones, in addition to overburden bills and arbitrary estimates for metered customers.
They also add that the non-availability of electricity has grossly affected citizens, putting them into untold hardship.
The populace are facing untold hardships, and the situation in the country is anything but normal. And removal of any subsidy, not to talk of electricity subsidy, will be more than adding petrol to fire.
Most of the problems that we're having today, especially in the manufacturing sector of the economy, is as a result of low power. And many organizations and companies are relocating from Nigeria simply because they don't have energy to drive their organizations.
They urge electricity companies in the country to focus on the right priorities.
I think our concern for this moment should be how to generate electricity and effectively, adequately distribute electricity.
The Senate is also urging Nigeria's Minister of Power to obey past resolutions related to their relations with the public. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Coming up, learning in the mother tongue, an option to solving Nigeria's education difficulties. We'll bring you details of this and more after the break.
The Saburi 1 and 2 roads are located in Jiwa district under the Abuja Municipal Area Council. The roads, known to be notoriously bad, especially during the rainy season, have been begging for a facelift for many years. However, the light has come to the community.
If you've just joined us, you're watching Nigeria. You're watching tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Nigerian opposition leader Julius Abur arrested in Edo State. Tinubu appoints new immigration controller general. NLC insists on planned protest, knocks DSS. The coalition of northern groups, CNG, has expressed deep concern over the indiscriminate rise in prices of essential commodities in Nigeria, saying the soaring cost of food items and other necessities have left Nigerians in a state of despair, struggling to provide for their families and faced with unaffordable basic necessities. The national coordinator of CNG, Jamilu Aliyu Charanchi, in a statement said despite the existence of the Consumer Protection Commission, which should safeguard the interests of Nigerians, its inaction has worsened the situation, fueling frustration and anger among the citizens. The CNG said the exorbitant hike in food prices in Nigeria is not a result of natural market forces, but rather the self-serving interest of unscrupulous elite. The coalition alleged that these elites have manipulated the forex market, caused scarcity of foreign exchange, and subsequently driven up the cost of imported essential food items. To discuss this, I'm joined in the studio by the General Manager, Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, Asue Ighodalo. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me in the program.
All right, let's start generally with the state of the nation and, of course, bring it down to Lagos. What is the consumer protection doing about the skyrocketing prices of food items?
Yeah, thank you very much. When it comes to the issue of pricing, it is actually on the exclusive list of the Constitution and is only within the powers of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. That's why the state does not have a jurisdiction to actually do anything on the issue of pricing. It is not within the purview of the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency.
So what are you doing to help? Because your responsibility is to help address issues that affect consumers. Is there anything you're doing in this regard?
Yes, because we're in collaboration with the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. We synergize with them. So if there's any need for us, if there's anything that we notice, we bring it to their attention, and with their own directive, we can do joint investigation and as well do joint enforcement on it.
So what have you noticed as regards, all the things that's been going on in recent days? There's been protests, and is there something that you've communicated to the state government as regards how consumers are being treated that has been addressed in these during this
time? Yes, it's everywhere. We know protests here and there. But like I said, we are collating. So by the time we're ready, we quickly communicate with people at the Federal Commission of the Protection Agency. So there's a lot going on, but we'll get there.
Okay. What about the concerns about electricity tariff, the possibility of tampering with that? Have you had any concerns from consumers here in Lagos particularly?
Yes, on our own bit, like tomorrow now, we always have the IKDC and the AKDC sit in our office at least once in a month. And to a very large extent, we are more concerned about exploitation by all this discourse. To date, at least in the last 3 years, we've been able to recover over 77 million as credit adjustment for Lagosians through IKDC and over 27 million from AKDC for Lagosians. However, on the issue of the pricing and everything is still within the purview of the federal. But when it comes to people giving exorbitant fees to pay, or maybe they're illegally disconnected, that is where we key in, and we have this synergy with IKDC and EKDC to address. If you come to our office tomorrow, you'll see at least not less than 50 people that comes for complaint, and their matters will be resolved amicably. And those that cannot be resolved within that few hours that will be together, they will be taken to the office and further investigation will be conducted on same.
I want to believe that your jurisdiction has extended to the internet as a result of the online vendors that we have that sell things on Instagram and related social media platforms. Have you had any complaints about, increase in prices, and is there any way to checkmate some of these excesses of online vendors?
Yeah, thank you very much. We've been able to resolve so many cases about these online vendors, but we always advise people that are buying products through the vendors online. There's this issue of payment before delivery. We've said it and we'll continue to say that you don't need to pay for a product you've not seen. It's better you lose the money for delivery and lose the whole money that you must have used in buying that particular product. So we continue, but we've gotten a lot of reports, some of them that do have offices or a place that they have addresses which can be traceable. And we invite them, and in most cases we resolve between the parties. But we still continue to advise people. I do not think, because I myself have done a lot of online transaction, and I insist payment on delivery, not before delivery, because that is when trouble starts. You will discover that some people will do that online transaction, and before you know it, they are blocked, and you won't be able to reach out to them again,
True,
and the money is gone forever.
And then you have people that have FOMO, afraid of missing out. So they might say, oh, if you don't pay now, someone else is going to take it. It's a lot of issues there.
It is. But for people doing genuine business, I can assure you, people doing genuine, you have a product to sell. And definitely you want to sell. And someone is saying, okay, when you deliver to me, if it's the real thing that I saw online and the same thing you're delivering to me, definitely I'll pay.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has asked the federal government to end the inconsistency in duty charges by the Nigeria Customs Service. Obi made this call in a statement via his verified X handle on Wednesday. The Labour Party leader said the inconsistency in duty charges is affecting the general business atmosphere in the country. He warned that if this situation is not corrected, importers in the country may resort to using the ports of nearby countries, a situation that he noted will leave the Nigerian ports underproductive and further deepen the economy into a worse situation as a result of loss of revenue. The Nigeria Labour Congress has insisted that a planned protest against the prevailing economic situation in the country will hold, contrary to the warning issued by the Department of State Services, DSS, to shelve the protest. The organized labor on Monday began mobilizing its members for a nationwide protest slated for February 27 and 28 over the cost of living crisis in the country. Reacting to the planned protest in a statement on Wednesday, the DSS spokesman, Peter Afunaya, urged the union to shelve the plan in the interest of peace and public order. However, the NLC president, Joe Ajero, in a statement he personally signed on Wednesday evening, noted that the protest will still hold and questioned why the DSS had yet to execute the arrest of those planning to disrupt the protests. International Mother Tongue Language Day is a day set aside by the United Nations to reawaken people's consciousness, especially the African continent, to its multi-language diversity in order to strengthen individual identity, culture, and belief, while creating the possibility to relate with the environment in a world that is increasingly becoming a global village. The theme for this year's celebration is multilingual education, a pillar of intergenerational learning. News Centre's Omolola Ololade tells us more in this report.
Globally, 40% of the population does not have access to an education in a language they speak or understand. Nevertheless, progress is being made in multilingual education with growing understanding of its importance, particularly in early schooling, and more commitment to its development in public life. On this note, the Nigerian government has continued to make frantic effort to achieve a balance between indigenous languages and other languages of international prestige in the curriculum of its public and private schools by ensuring that every student learned at least one indigenous language of his or her choice.
I speak Yoruba, but I don't understand it very well, but I will soon understand it.
I would like to learn Igbo in school and speak it to my parents and every Igbo people I come across.
The children have the capacity to learn 5 languages before the age of 5. We usually make the mistake of keeping our children in school to just learn the English language, saying that we don't want other languages to affect their English or their pronunciation.
Teaching in the mother tongue is vital, especially at the primary school level, as it promotes inclusion, quality learning, and boosts academic performance according to UNESCO. Despite the benefit of learning in the mother tongue, some parents are skeptical about the idea.
Not too many teachers are out there with the sound understanding and comprehension of language as a tool for teaching. It is not enough to be able to speak our mother tongue. There is language that is necessary for providing knowledge to young learners.
Educationists are unequivocal on the importance of teaching and learning in indigenous languages.
Languages, a lot of the principles, values, ideals that have been passed down through the ages are captured in our folklore. They are captured in our stories. They are captured in our poetry. That sort of thing.
For parents, community groups, traditional rulers, NGOs, religious organizations, and government, there is a consensus on the need to heed UNESCO's advice in preserving linguistic diversity as an essential cultural element for solving the current global learning crisis in most schools' curriculum. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Many thanks, Omolola. Still ahead, South Africa government hikes taxes and social spending before election. We'll tell you more about this and other stories when we return. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We now head to Senegal, where 15 candidates in Senegal's delayed presidential election have accused President Macky Sall of ill will, saying they will take action to ensure a new poll date is swiftly established. The announcement came as the civil society collective Protect Our Election said it had organized a new rally for Saturday. The collective is calling for an election to be held before April 2, when Sall's term officially runs out. It says the vote, originally scheduled for February 25, must be held by March 3 at the latest. Sall's last-minute delay to the February vote plunged the traditionally stable West African nation into its worst political crisis in decades and sparked unrest during which 3 people were killed. Let's now tell you that South Africa plans to hike taxes and increase spending on social grants ahead of a general election in May amid sluggish growth and high debt. The Treasury announced increases in income tax as well as alcohol and cigarettes duties as part of a national budget unveiled a day after President Cyril Ramaphosa announced general elections on May 29. The tax increases come with the ruling African National Congress, ANC, struggling in the polls and at risk of losing its parliamentary majority for the first time since the advent of democracy in 1994.
South Africa's near-term growth remains hamstrung by lower commodity prices and structural constraints. We estimate real GDP growth of 0.6% in 2023. This is down from 0.8% growth estimated during the medium-term budget policy statement. The revision is due to weaker than expected outcomes in the third quarter of 2023, particularly in household consumption and fixed investment.
Now we are paying, and we only have 510 rand. We're living with it because we are unemployed. Now, in that 510 rand of a child, you must pay the school fees, you must buy the books because there are no books in the schools. You see, on the health system, the system is cut. Now, there are no medications there, and we can't afford to go to the private.
We basically are in protest of the high cost of living that is exacerbated.
Let's now join our business desk for today's business news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In business,
The federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has again raised the exchange rate for cargo clearance to 1,605 naira to a dollar. This is coming days after the rate rose to 1,515 per dollar, but later dropped to 1,472 naira per dollar. Between January and now, the rate has risen a couple of times. When our correspondent visited the portal of the Nigeria Customs Service on Wednesday, it was observed that the new rate was reflected on the portal. As staying with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the apex bank, has revealed that currency outside banks as of January 2024 marginally declined to 3.28 trillion naira, representing 89% of the 3.65 trillion naira total currency in circulation. The report showed an improved ratio of currency outside banks compared to currency in circulation, which was 94% in December 2023. However, a year-on-year comparison between January 2023 and 2024 showed that currency outside banks recorded an astonishing 314% increase from 79 billion naira in 2023 to 3.28 trillion naira in 2024. Staying in West Africa, Ghanaian President Akufo Addo is advocating for African nations, including Ghana, to withdraw a minimum of 30% of their public funds and assets from foreign banks and deposit them in African financial institutions. Speaking at the Presidential Dialogue on African Union Financial Institutions during the 37th African Union Summit, he emphasized that the current global financial architecture is unfavorable to African countries, hindering development financing. President Akufo Addo proposed investing at least 30% of each African state's sovereign reserves in African multilateral institutions like the African Development Bank, AFDB, and the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank. He linked this call to lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic's challenges in accessing development finance for economic recovery. And in Southern Africa, the National Treasury has disclosed that from 2022 to 2023, South Africa's ECOM generated a loss of 24 billion rand. According to the Treasury Budget Review, the state-owned entity also continued to rely on government support for liquidity. The government acknowledged that the financial sustainability of ECOM is compromised by poor generating performance, declining sales, the utilities increasing primary energy costs, escalating municipal arrear debt, and high debt service costs. In East Africa, the Central Bank of Kenya has set specific fines for lenders and officials breaching rules, a shift from blanket fines for all violations. The published draft banking penalties regulations 2024 published by the Central Bank of Kenya stipulates a maximum fine of 20 million Kenyan shillings for institutions violating rules on minimum capital levels and adequacy ratios, making adequate provisions for loans and write-offs and corporate governance regulations. A fine of up to 20 million Kenyan shillings also for failing to keep proper books or records and failure to comply with CBK requests during an audit inspection. Other violations carry proposed penalties of between 2 million Kenyan shillings and 10 million Kenyan shillings for institutions. And that's a package on business news at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
Business News in association with Money Master. Sports Update brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Let's now get all the latest in sports with my colleague, Babatunde Koiki. Babatunde, over to you now.
Hello and welcome to Sports News. We start with table tennis, where Africa's only surviving team at the ongoing to track and field now, and Nigeria's Chukwuebuka Enekwechi has set a new African record in the men's indoor shot put event. Enekwechi launched himself into the record books with a monumental indoor personal best of 21.63 meters at a competition in the Czech Republic on Tuesday night. The feat not only shattered his own personal best, but also smashed the long-standing African indoor record of 21.47 meters, which had stood since 2001. The four-time Nigerian champion has now met the Olympic qualifying standard for Paris 2024 and put him in the frame to retain his title at next month's Africa Games in Ghana. Enekwechi is the defending champion in the men's shot put event, having won gold at the 2019 Africa Games in Rabat, Morocco. And to rugby now, South Africa's world champions, the Springboks, will face Wales in the first official match as world champions. Rassie Erasmus' return following their World Cup triumph in France last year will see the Springboks take on their Welsh counterparts. The match will also mark a repeat of South Africa's 2015 Rugby World Cup quarterfinal at the same venue, which South Africa won by 23-19. The last time the Springboks crossed paths with Wales was in a Rugby World Cup warm-up match in Cardiff in August last year, when they registered a record-breaking 52-16 victory, which surpassed their previous best of 22 points against the Welsh recorded in 2007. The London test will be followed by a challenging two-match series against Ireland in Pretoria on the 6th of July and Durban on the 13th of July, and their first test against Portugal a week later in Bloemfontein in the closing match of the incoming series. And to Formula One now, Red Bull's Max Verstappen threw down the gauntlet to the rest of the grid with an ominous start to Formula One preseason testing. The three-time world champion was 1.14 seconds quicker than McLaren's Lando Norris in second, with Ferrari's Carlos Sainz 0.1 seconds behind in third. Red Bull entered 2024 on the back of the most dominant season in F1 history last year, in which they won all but one of the 22 races. The new RB20 car has drawn admiring glances up and down the pit lane for the number of innovations it includes, despite the team describing it as an evolution of last year's model. This season opener will come on the 2nd of March at the Bahrain International Circuit, the same venue that is hosting this week's 3 days of testing. And that's all we have on sports news. It's back to you, Felicity.
Many thanks, Babatunde. It's now time for us to take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. All right, we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we have entertainment. Do stay with us.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Now we can join Jadel Simon for some entertainment news. Just before the break, I was saying One Dance is back in the news. Jadel, what's that all about? Our own Wizkid and Drake.
Hello, Felicity. Welcome to Entertainment. First of all, tonight, I'm Jadel Simon. Yes, surprisingly, One Dance, after 7 years, is back in the news. We're going to hear about the rest of it we're going to hear about the rest of the news shortly. Canadian rap icon Drake celebrates as his smash hit One Dance surpasses a staggering 3 billion streams globally. The song featuring Nigerian music star Wizkid has become a timeless favorite since its release in May 2016, fusing dancehall, Afrobeat, and pop seamlessly. Drake took to Instagram to pay tribute to Wizkid for his pivotal role in the song's success, tagging him in his story and sharing a heartfelt message. Now, this milestone adds to Wizkid's recent accomplishment, including receiving a 20 million naira gift from hype man Money G, who got a tattoo of Wizkid's name on his arm. Wizkid's solo career continues to flourish, marked by Grammy wins and sold-out tours across continents. Now, big ups to Drake and Wizkid right there. I mean, after 7 years, your song is still doing well, and not just doing well, but surpassing 3 billion streams. That's a lot. Big congratulations to both Drake and Wizkid right there. Now, away from that, Martin Scorsese is in the news. The celebrated filmmaker Martin Scorsese was warmly received at the Berlinale Palace, where he was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award, now the honorary Golden Bear. Amidst cheers and chants from fans, Scorsese graciously signed autographs despite the cold Berlin night. Inside, following a standing ovation, he was treated to a tribute featuring clips from his illustrious career and heartfelt speeches from festival organizers and colleagues, including German director Wim Wenders. Scorsese, renowned for his cinematic contributions, expressed gratitude and reflected on his extensive career, highlighting the significance of film festivals. He also hinted at an upcoming project centered on the life of Christ. The ceremony concluded with a screening of his acclaimed film, The Departed, following the success of his latest endeavor, Killers of the Flower Moon, which has earned 10 Oscar nominations. Now, when we talk about legends and veterans, we definitely cannot leave out Martin Scorsese. That's the most we can take tonight on entertainment. We'll take a short break, and when we're back, we'll bring you what's trending.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Thank you for staying with us. Away from entertainment stories, let's tell you what is trending. Currently trending on social media and sparking reactions from various quarters is $1, and here's why. The Naira continues to depreciate in value as $1 climbs to almost 1,000 Naira today. 1,900 Naira, beg your pardon, today, making it even harder for the common man to survive in Nigeria, intensifying the economic instability in the country. Here are a few reactions trending on X. But first of all, let's take this. An ex-user responded to a circulating video of the Vice President Kashim Shettima saying he was urging Nigerians to invest their trust in President Bola Tinubu Ahmed. She wrote, "It is not about trusting Tinubu, sir. People are currently suffering and dying of hunger." Let's take some other reactions. Okay, so Ogeneris is telling us that as of now, $1 is 1,880 Naira. I mean, I was just telling a friend that the dollar might even climb to 2,500 Naira before December. Udesin is saying the labor of our heroes past not even reach $1. And that's the much we can take for tonight on what's trending. Thank you.
Adele, I don't know your prediction whether it will work. Let's find out from Babatunde quickly. Do you think that the dollar will climb to 2,000 Naira or more in no time?
So many years ago in Zimbabwe, the inflation was so bad that people used to take baskets of money to go shopping. So one day, a woman actually had her basket stolen and the money thrown out. The basket was even more valuable than all the money in the basket. So we might get to that situation someday soon.
I hope not. I hope not. Let them do something quickly. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all on tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Nigerian opposition leader Julius Abur has been arrested in Edo State. President Bola Tinubu has appointed a new immigration controller general. The Nigerian Labour Congress has insisted on planned protest, not DSS. And we also brought you news that the South African government has hiked taxes and social spending before elections. Would love to hear from you. Please send your eyewitness reports to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on social media. That's at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. As always, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye for now.